Okay, you can go ahead.
So good evening. Oh, here we go. Good evening, everybody. We still have a bunch more people. I have a feeling didn't take a look as far as what was going on with timing, but it's great. We have a lot of stuff to talk about this evening, and I just want to make sure that everybody's in for the presentation. I will send a lot more information in the next email with dates and times. Luckily, we have both homes on the Friday evening of the POA meeting weekend. So that's Friday the 8th. We are doing a progressive dinner. And for everybody and friends becoming neighbors, for those of you who are listening, and those of you who are actually here, we will be starting at the Nuts House for appetizers and heavy hors d'oeuvres, and we'll send you all that kind of stuff with the addresses and everything else. And Sandy, say hi and tell everybody your address.
3985 Bay Colony Road, Northeast. You'll never remember that. But I'm in the directory.
and I will make sure that I put everything in there. And John and Una, I know it's a really, really, really long walk from your house, but if you need a ride, we'll all be more than happy to give you a ride. And then for dessert and after dinner drinks, we're going to be going over to the Fishers, Mary and John.
And we're 9376 Fallen Pear. We're right in the middle of everybody.
And we are going to be doing a Secret Santa game for $25 for something for everybody's house, something funky and fun and cool, because I figure we all need stuff for our new houses. And then we're going to be playing a little game of Steel. So Sandy will be running that particular game. So it should be a lot of fun. Obviously, Debbie, you've done that before. I saw the look on your face. Are you really good at that?
No.
Ah.
We're gonna do the game at Mary's house when we're doing desserts, right, Mary?
That sounds perfect.
Yeah, we'll do it after desserts. Yeah.
I can't get our video on. Can you?
Nicole, do you have a little window over your camera?
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't, and it's okay because we're about to eat dinner, so I don't really want to be on video.
No worries. No worries. So
but I don't know how to turn it on after the fact.
Well, you know what? If you figure it out, it's all good. So without further ado, I am going to start the meeting because we have a lot of good stuff to talk about. And I would like to introduce our speaker for the evening. Actually, I'm going to allow him to introduce himself to all of you that don't know him yet.
Good evening, Jeff Terry. I'm known in your community as a home inspector, as well as in Compass Point and River Light, Del Webb, Brunswick Forest, St. James Plantation, and a lot of smaller communities. I'm also professionally, I'm also a real estate broker. I've practiced since 2005, and I'm a licensed general contractor. I recently reapplied and regained my contractor's license because I'm building some homes for myself for rentals. And just for me, it's just more direct to do it myself. And it's a skill I have. So I do have a PowerPoint presentation that is kind of a big picture view of real estate transactions that includes builders, home inspectors, real estate brokers, other advocates. So I'm going to share my screen that will pop up on my screen, and just let me know if it's not working. That one. Okay. So slideshow. I'm fumbling a little bit here with the IT.
So you're just going to go to the presentation view.
Yeah, I'm oh, there's my mouse. Okay. I just can't find my mouse.
Thing at the top.
So from the beginning.
You can tell it where you want it to be. Like hide self-view.
Well, it's just not wanting to do it here.
Over on the right, over on, when you went to the presentation, it said, present presentation
Any of them. If you don't like it, you can change it.
Oh, there we go.
by the slideshow.
Pause chat.
It's okay. You might as well
You might as well
start.
Well, can you see the
Yes,
the PowerPoint?
absolutely. Mhm.
Yeah, good. That's fine. So as I said, I'm a home inspector. I practice as a home inspector. I've got maybe 4,000 inspections. That's a screenshot of part of my website, and I've been doing it for a little over 10 years. I'm also licensed general contractor. And so this is a home I'm building right now. I'm building 3 of them on some land I own on the river next door to my home. And you see, I've blocked out some of the state seal, as they won't let us use it. So I'm blocking it out just in case I get audited. And I'm including there's some of the books I had to study for the licensed general contractor. So I'm a real estate broker. I own my own firm. I've been a broker for 20 years. I was with Intracoastal Realty for 10 years. And when I became a home inspector during recession, it conflicts with being part of a large firm. You can imagine that I can't inspect homes that my firm has listed or represents a buyer on, and be an independent home inspector. So there's some of my successful transactions on the right-hand side, and I'm still a practicing real estate broker. This is a slide I use when I do presentations in person, and its intent was to help my clients understand the big picture and where they're fitting in that picture. So home inspection in North Carolina, we're a licensed trade. In many states aren't licensed, maybe about half of them. California, I think New York, I'm not sure. But big states, there's no licensing at all. Any 18-year-old can be a home inspector, no training whatsoever. So we have a standard of practice, and we also have a code of ethics. We'll talk about the standard of practice in a little bit. So my role in my profession as a home inspector is to give my client an understanding of the home, and we do that through a written report. And for compensation, that's what makes it a home inspection. Anybody can be a volunteer and do something for free, but if you're getting compensation, then you have to be licensed. So when I'm reporting, I'm using this mandated format, DDID. So I'm describing a system or component, maybe your roof covering, determining what the malfunction is. I'm describing that to you as well. And I'm sharing the implication. And the implication is going to be roof leaks, deterioration, et cetera, et cetera. And then I'm offering a direction. Let's contact your home builder. Let's contact a licensed roofing contractor to remediate it or further evaluate it. So there are some of the trades I might recommend on the right-hand side. The engineer, when I'm calling for an engineer, that's kind of the highest level, sort of, if I were in the medical field, it'd be like brain surgery or something. So, you're in, you bought a new home in North Carolina. And you see, I've written not legal advice all over the place there because my board doesn't want me to offer any legal advice. I'm not an attorney, but I grabbed some of this offline, and we've heard of caveat emptor, let the buyer beware. And based on what I've read online, I view this state as a buyer beware state. So when you cross that border into North Carolina, you're responsible for your own well-being. And so, for instance, in that middle paragraph, it talks about a stucco lawsuit, as we've had a lot of problems with moisture and stucco back in the early 2000s. and someone brought an action against a homeowner, a seller, a buyer brought it against a seller. And I think somehow in the proceedings of the trial, it was determined that the plaintiff took no action when they were buying the house, i.e. home inspection, did it have synthetic stucco or not? And so according to this, the judge found that he was also negligent because he took no action on his own behalf. If it was important to you, Mr. Plaintiff, then why didn't you do something when you were buying the house? So the reason I put that in there is just to let you know that we're responsible for ourselves in North Carolina, and there is no big brother state that is going to protect us other than us protecting ourselves. So moving on to the bottom of that page, and I include this, by the way, because I'm often asked during the home inspection, what can I do about it? Who can I make fix it? Whose responsibility is this? And so I want to paint the picture that it's our responsibilities as homeowners to do research, to take action, like get a home inspector, find out what the problems are, and then move towards remediating those problems. And the code of ethics down at the bottom, I always kind of wrap up with that on this page, is that as a home inspector, I'm a neutral party. So I'm not an advocate. Advocates take sides. Your attorney, your real estate broker, maybe the government a little bit, and any friend that wants to stand up and take your side, those are advocates. I'm an impartial party, so I'm writing about the house. The roof leaks. It can cause damage. Go and get a roofing contractor to fix it. So I'm the middle party. Everything I put in writing, mostly everything I say, it's designed to be just bland and right in the middle. And the advocates, that's actually you. If you've got a real estate broker, great. Tell them to go over there and advocate for you. Because when I'm practicing as a real estate broker, we get those home inspections in, and my clients look at me and they say, Jeff, what are you going to do about this? Because I'm their advocate. They're paying me $5, $10, $20,000 to represent them, and I need to go in there and make sure this gets fixed. But as a home inspector, I'm an impartial party, so I'm just giving it to you on paper to inform you, give you an understanding of your home, and then your real estate broker, your attorney, you're going to go and advocate for yourself. Speaking of real estate broker, this is a form that I use when I represent buyers or sellers. And so up in the top area here, that's the broker or the firm. I'm the buyer's agent. I'm responsible to protect that buyer in that transaction. And this is the form that gets us, that sets the limitations of our responsibility. So in this form, I'm recommending to my buyer that they hire a home inspector, and they're either going to initial that they're going to do it, or they're going to waive it. If they waive it, it's like, fine, you waived it against my advice. I'm not responsible for anything that happens there. And so, home inspectors are, we're generalists. So HVAC system, that's a complicated system. So I'm going to recommend that we hire an HVAC contractor to evaluate that system. I'm going to recommend we hire a pest inspector. And we're going to talk about re-inspections after the homeowner fixes things. Are we going to do re-inspections, or are we just going to trust that it's fixed? And then over here, the buyer or seller, whoever my client is, they're going to acknowledge the limitations of my responsibility. Some of it was waived, like, hey, we waived that home inspection. And so I included this for this conversation because many new homeowners, we come and visit the community. We drive around with the seller's agent or the land baron agent, and then we buy a lot, and then we pick a builder, and we're doing all of this without broker representation. So it doesn't relieve not responsibility, but it doesn't relieve the good advice of, let's go get a home inspector. Let's get HVAC inspector. Let's get a pest inspector. Just because it's new doesn't mean it's put together right and that it's going to be reliable and safe. So that's a real estate broker form. I actually included all three of my licenses on those first three frames, so that if this ever got back to my home inspection board, I can say, well, I was speaking as a real estate broker, because you guys want to buy or sell a house, call me. And that kind of frees me up to talk about the transaction. Whereas a home inspector, remember, I'm impartial. So I don't want to build a house for anybody, by the way. So what is a home inspection? In North Carolina, it's defined through our licensing board and our standard of practice. And those are some screenshots of it. There's some limitations. It's a visual inspection. It's not, I'm not putting gauges on your HVAC equipment. I'm not taking anything apart, but I'm visually inspecting the systems and the major systems according to the standard of practice. And this is sort of the minimum that we can do and complete a home inspection according to our standard, to our licensing. There's some language in there that says I can go further, and I go as far as is reasonable.
Robin, everybody's muted, including
Yeah,
Jeff.
so
Except-
Jeff, can you just
except you.
unmute? Jeff, unmute.
How did we get that?
Robin might have muted everybody,
Oh, maybe.
including him by accident.
Got it.
Got it. Great, thank you.
Okay. So did everybody hear this frame about what a home inspection is in North Carolina? Yeah. Okay, good. We got some thumbs up. Cool. So one thing I have to do before I inspect any home is I have to have a signed agreement. It's 3 pages long. It's as fair as any, and it talks about when you're going to get your report. It talks about your home inspector is a generalist. I'm not an engineer. I'm not an HVAC contractor. I'm not a licensed electrician. I'm a generalist. And then I have to include this affiliation disclosure to let you know that I'm a real estate broker and I'm not giving you real estate brokerage advice. So some of that negotiation advice, that's all real estate broker advice. So I have to tread very carefully when I'm actually performing a home inspection, not to take sides. We'll talk more about the benefits of the home inspection and who your advocate is later. So for the past 5 years, I have mostly inspected new construction. And it came about sort of in an unusual way, and that I consider myself to be very thorough, and I report right to the line of what the state tells me to do, including putting the implication in there. The implication is electricity can shock you. It can cause severe injury. It can cause death. And a lot of real estate brokers don't want that kind of language messing up their deal. So I don't get hired by a lot of real estate brokers. And but guess where all of that implication and all that thorough reporting comes in handy is with new homeowners that have a builder's warranty and have a brand new home. So what makes me unpalatable to a real estate broker makes me a really good inspector for somebody that has a $500, $700, $900,000 home that they new build, and there's an expectation with new build that it should be right, and it hasn't had time to go bad, hasn't had time to have defects, and it should be right. So this is an area where I do most of my work. If you're in Del Webb, Riverlights, Del Webb, of the 500 homes I've inspected, maybe 350 of them. And I've inspected them 2 or 3 times because I inspect during the build when it's new, 11 months. Compass Point, if you're building a home in Compass Point in the last 2 or 3 years, there's 80% likelihood I'm inspecting that home. And then you see your neighborhood over here, some other neighborhoods, St. James, Brunswick Forest. I'm all over the place there. So our board did a survey of home inspectors. They do it every year. And the average home inspector inspects like 20 or 30 new homes a year. Well, I inspect about 300. So that was the highest by far. I think, was it 12, 30 was the medium and the mean, and then mine's 300. So if you're in North Carolina and you're looking for somebody that specializes in new home inspections, I'm so far, I exceed everybody else by so far. It's just not, there's no one even close to me. But guess what? I don't inspect anymore. Old homes, resale homes. I just don't have time. Doing the new homes is all the time I have. Looks like I got about 10 this week left. So now I'm moving into kind of inspection reporting things. So I grabbed these out of my last 6 or 8 reports just to kind of give you an idea of what you're going to be looking at.
Yeah, I recognize 1 or 2 of these pictures, Jim.
You do? I'm sorry if they're your house. I blocked out all the houses. So, and I blocked out all the personal stuff, but you know, I'm looking at the roof. I'm looking at the roof drainage. I'm looking at what the roof drainage is doing to the grade. Is it eroding it? You know, we've got torn shingles. We've got exposed nails. We've got shingles that don't seal. And then I'm looking at the exterior of the home. So here's some aluminum flashing that are not flashing, but cladding that if it's not secured, the first hurricane's just going to rip it right off. And here's some siding, same thing. You can see it's not secure, it's loose, so it's going to rip right off. Over here, I don't know if you can see that, but there's cracks in it. And there are some sidings out there that they may be very good sidings, but they do crack a lot. Typically, the ones that use recycled materials like fly ash, you know, you might think Hardy. Well, Hardy just uses, Hardy Plank just uses cement. But some of the competitors, they mix in some coal ash with it and makes it brittle and wants to crack and fall off. So I'm looking for that. You know, how do the doors fit? These are just samples. You know, here's a door that's out of plumb, so it doesn't make a seal at the top. Over here, you can see right under someone's door because it does. I see this about 30, 40% of the time. And I'm 61, I have to get down on my knees and look under the door. And, you know, sliding doors, they have 3 or 4 or 5 things can go wrong with them. This inspection I done a week or 2 ago, pre-drywall, and I found 8 truss connective plates that were detaching. Here's kind of a blow up. And I guess they liked 8s because I found 8 webs that were broken and then repaired. None of the plates were repaired. The webs look pretty good. But, you know, I have to say, you know, this is damage to an engineered system. So you need to get an engineer out there and design a fix, and you need to have documentation to certify that repair. Because when you're selling this home, there's no way a home inspector is going to miss this, and you're going to be getting your checkbook out for that engineer. And those guys, what I make in half a day, they make in like 15 minutes. So you don't want them coming to your house. Electric, I do the electrical system. So here's a panel I opened up last week. It says dining, like dining receptacles, but there's no wire going to it. So now I have to say, well, this whole panel is mislabeled because there's no way that those dining receptacles are getting power with no wire. So that's wrong. Here's some stainless steel gas line that's not bonded. They don't have the electrical bond going to it, so lightning could blow a hole in it, and then you have a gas leak. Here's an outlet that it's miswired or is defective. Can lights, or here's a 3-way lighting system where it's not wired correctly. and it only works from one place, not 2 or 3 places around the room. Smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. Here's one where they have a smoke detector on the second level. Well, guess what? You got to have a smoke and carbon monoxide detector on the second level, because carbon monoxide is just as bad as smoke and fire. So they put the wrong one there. They look kind of the same. You see here, no writing, here, writing. So no carbon monoxide detector, I write it up. That's wrong. Here's something I find all the time is the plumbing system wasn't flushed well, and sand is showing up in the plumbing fixtures, and it's clogging up the flow of the water from the fixtures, and that's kind of how you fix it there. And I find grout in the trap down in the drain. They leave the gauge on the gas lines. Well, that gauge is not a gas line. It can leak, and it's in somebody's attic. This is wrong in terms, you can't have this gas venting out of this in close proximity to something that makes a spark, because you get a little explosion right here. And this is one of my, I don't know, one of my favorites. Or when I find this, it's like, I'm so glad I found this. So under here, we have vents. This is a vent, a Studer vent. You have them under your sinks, and in many cases, and it lets the suction out of the pipe, so your sinks drain. Well, here they didn't put one on, and so that's just an open sewer pipe in your house spilling out sewer into that laundry room of this beautiful $1 million home. And this was a new home inspection. It was a builder's model that like a lease back, and I walked in this laundry room, and it's like, I smell sewer gas. This thing doesn't smell right. And sure enough, I found the vent purging out sewer gas day and night. And anyhow, I look for stuff like that. Heat pumps. I run your HVAC system and visually inspect it as well. So here's one where I'm getting discharge of 118 degrees for an electric heat pump. And the only way that happens if you're also burning the emergency heat strips. So you burn those emergency heat strips, you get a very high bill. So the heat pump makes cheap heat. The heat strips, they're only there to come on if it's 30 degrees outside. You need extra. 4, 5, 6 things that I'm looking for that I've found here with their HVAC system. Like, there were no vents in this bathroom, so it's not going to condition. You got like hurricane force winds coming out of the vents in this room, so it's just a nuisance. And then some other small things. Gas furnaces. I know y'all have a lot of gas furnaces, so those can be really deadly. They're gas. They have carbon monoxide. And in this one, there's some defects with the way the fire's coming out. The panels coming loose here. This plate here has some openings in it that could allow the carbon monoxide to be drawn into where the fan is blowing into your house. So, that's some pretty bad stuff. Gas logs. Here's one. I find this, I don't know, like every 3 or 4 months. So this is a sunroom that it used to be a lanai that was open. They made it a sunroom. Well, the fireplace is an outdoor fireplace. So now we've just enclosed it, and you might as well have a gas grill in there with all that carbon monoxide. You can't have this gas log pouring out all of this carbon monoxide in an enclosed space. So I disabled that log, and I told them not to use it until it got fixed. And I remember the client is like, I'm always sleeping when I'm in this room. It's like, yeah, that's carbon monoxide poisoning. And here's some gas vent for the fireplace, the gas log fireplace. You can see the insulation is touching the vent. Can't do that. Here you got the roof covering touching it. So all of that's flammable, and this is hot. Right here it says nothing can be within an inch, because I get hot. I'm going to burn it. Venting in the attic, the ridge vents have to be open. You know, here's one where they left the tar paper, the underlayment, and they just closed it up so the attic doesn't breathe. Gets really hot, gets a bunch of humidity. This is one I find a lot where you got those rooftop dryer vents. They left a screen on it. So a year or two, the screen will be solid white, blocked up, and you got a fire hazard in the house. Insulation missing, insulation missing, insulation missing. You know, sometimes it's just a little bit, like this was maybe 3 or 4 or 5 square feet, but still it's a ceiling. It's got to be insulated. Garage fire separation. So we park cars in our garage full of gasoline. The garage is literally inside our house. So what happens when we get an explosion, a car blows up or catches on fire? We have to have a 20-minute fire separation to keep that fire out of where we sleep. So if you have openings in the ceiling, then the fire's just going right into the attic, and then it's going to be in your bedroom in about 20 seconds. The door between the garage and the house is a fire rated door to keep that fire out of your house. So here, well, the latches, people just don't know how to hang doors anymore. So this latch isn't really reliable. Here, right under the door, you can just see right through it. They didn't put the seal on it. A lot of times they don't move the threshold up to make a good contact with the seal. And garage doors, I inspect those too. What's this? This is the interior. You know, windows, we have 2 or 3 things that go wrong. We're all familiar with windows that you get a broken seal. Well, we have something else here besides the seal, is we have an energy film sprayed on the glass between the panes. And those things go bad for some reason. They get a bad spray and it makes a different look. So that's outside of my scope, but I look for it anyway. A lot of times I can find it if it's there. Makes it kind of a shimmery look, like you're looking through insect wings. It's kind of transparent, but not really. And no one ever cleans the windows, so you've got all this grit in the tracks. Attic doors, you can see right here's a opening in the seal between the attic door. Those wire shelves, you know, they have to have hardware so that they don't come loose and then collapse. Railings need the proper amount of support. Let's see, appliances. So, gosh, I can't tell you how many times a week I find we see here how the drain's supposed to go from the disposal to the dishwasher. It has to go up. That's because when you have a bunch of water in the sink, we don't want it to go down into the dishwasher where our clean dishes is, like it's doing right here. It's going straight down. So you pull that stopper and the water goes in here with the dishes. So that's unsanitary. This is literally called a sanitary loop, and it's required. This is kind of one of the things that builders dislike me for, is you're like KitchenAid, Whirlpool, a whole bunch of other brands. They say to have this oven sitting on a solid platform. So they don't. There's a metal oven, goes right into the shelf, so it gets real hot in there. I look for the proper electrical supply. So here we have 22 amps. You know, I do the math. It says this needs 22 amps. So we need to have a 25 or 30 amp breaker, but they had a 40 amp breaker on it. That means the breaker's not going to trip if this malfunctions, and we could get a fire, we could ruin our appliance. So anyway, that's kind of what a home inspection report looks like. And, you know, if I have any clients in the room, you've seen them, and gosh, I've written tons of them. But I wanted to include some things about code and code inspection, because when you're advocating for yourself, a lot of folks call me up and they say, Jeff, what's the code that goes with this? And, you know, code is real, because the builder says, oh, we build the code. We had a code inspection. We passed the code inspection. You know, this home inspector doesn't mean anything. And, you know, code is a minimum standard. So it's like, if you say you build to code, you're saying, hey, I build to the most minimum standard possible. And it doesn't cover everything. Is as big as that book is, and like here's 12 of them, and they're this big, it still doesn't cover everything. It doesn't even get close. And often it refers to manufacturer instructions. So if your dishwasher manufacturer says you got to do that sanitary loop, you got to do it. It's part of code. But so we say, well, okay, Jeff, if all of this stuff or much of the stuff in your report is not code, how did it pass? And so let's talk about code inspectors. You know, you're probably paying $30-40 for that code inspection. So they have 15 to 25 a day, each one of them. They're going to spend 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes at your home. I'm going to spend 3, 4, 5 hours at your home. So they do a good job for the $35 or $40 they're getting paid. You know, it's a level of protection, but you know, you're getting $35, $40 worth, and you're getting 5 or 10 minutes worth. So there's no, passing a code inspection does not mean your house passes code. It's like it passed a 5 or 10 minute code inspection, and they're not looking at everything. We look at different things. I look at a lot of the things they'll be looking at, but I look at a lot more. So, in sort of the wrapping up, is this my last one? Yeah. So the reason that the new home buyers are calling me mostly is because in North Carolina, the builder has a duty. I don't want to use the word legal, but he has a duty to provide workmanship like home, safe, habitable, et cetera, et cetera. And you have that builder's warranty. And when you're in a resale transaction, there's no warranty on that house. You're buying it from a seller. You know, I get sent in, I'm going to negotiate 3, maybe 5 things and a little bit of money off of the house. But with the builder's liability, you know, they have, or the builder's duty, they, you know, their duty touches all of these systems. And we've already kind of set the expectation that you're your own advocate. Unless you've got a buyer's agent, not a seller's agent, unless you got a buyer's agent that's helping you, or an attorney that you hired. Those guys are expensive and smart. They're great. But it's going to come down to you being your own advocate. So what the home inspection report can do for you is it can give you the information you need, much of the information you need to advocate for yourself. So it makes you much stronger as an advocate, because you've got my signature, you got my licensing, I'm explaining the issues to you in a way that you can understand, that your builder can understand, and at the end of the day, it's up to you to paint them into a corner and get it fixed. And you know, I don't think there's ever going to be a perfect home. Even after someone takes my report to the builder, I think that there's going to be some give and take. It's like, okay, the closet door sticks. Let's just keep that on the back burner. You fix that, and I'll do the front door. That's got a big draft underneath it. So the home inspection is really there to help you advocate for yourself and collect on that builder's warranty as much as you can, and protect yourself. Remember, you might say, "Oh, my home is 3 years old. I don't have builder's warranty." Well, do you have one of those fireplaces on your lanai that can kill you? That's important. You know, what about your gas pack, your gas furnace? You know, that's important. All this stuff's important. And there will be a guy like me coming around for the buyer when you sell your home. So let's get it done now, because A, you can be safe. B, you can get your builder to fix some things that are important to you. And there it is. So home inspection, advocacy, brokerage. I'll take any question.
So
Hey,
let's-
Jeff, I'm sorry, can I jump in here and add some perspective? Sandy and I over the years have bought and sold a number of existing homes. This is the first home we had built. And I'm used to getting the home inspection or receiving a home inspection, depending on which side of the transaction I was on. And it's a handful of things. And most of them are a little, you know, the electric outlet cover is loose or something, and they want me to hire a contractor and show receipts for tightening that. And I'm like, yeah, never mind, I can tighten that. Then there are some more significant items that are found, and a lot of times it ends up in negotiations, costs of price, you know, a couple $1,000 off the price or whatever to cover repairs. I'll tell you that all those inspectors are hired by the realtor. And the realtor is very much interested in that sale going through. Matter of fact, I heard quite a blast from a realtor that was very upset with the home inspector because it almost torpedoed the sale. And I'm like, well, that's kind of, you know, if it's significant, that may be something we want. I'll tell you that Jeff takes a very different approach. He was here for 11 to 5:30, I believe, but you took a half hour for lunch. So it was a good 6 hours. I went around with you for most of it to see the things myself. I entered 4 dozen things into the warranty portal after that. Some of the things are frustrating, and it's because of your limitations. You know, you say, hey, this, you know, your HVAC system is screwed up. You need to hire a contractor to come in here and, you know, provide an evaluation or remediation. It's like, well, wait a minute, I'm already paying you a bunch of money. And how many times there were a number of comments like that since I'm under warranty, I'm able to just push it back to the builder. But had it not been, there's a lot of follow-up work that can come out of those reports. And I'll just say that Jeff's report is extremely thorough, and it was very much to how he described it. He said you'll have a handful of things that are significant. You'll have a slew of things that are a number of things that are like, well, you know, we could probably fix that, or that should be addressed. And then there's some that are just like, yeah, okay, it's the loose outlet cover or something. I'll tighten that up one day. But I think it was money well spent, and our roofers were here
All
all
day
day
today
today,
and coming back
come
tomorrow.
back tomorrow, and they were
Nice.
here last week. So
Engineers coming out, they're fixing all the trusses that are broken,
Oh,
and
yeah.
all our front steps are getting redone. Thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome.
so,
Well, I'm glad it worked out
It
for
was
you.
money well spent, I will say.
I don't know
Thank you
about-
very much.
I don't know if I'll ever get the HVAC distribution
Right,
addressed
yeah.
to my satisfaction, put it that way.
And thank you for sharing that. Karen, you have your hand raised.
That's me. So, Jeff, 2 questions. One is, you didn't mention anything about foundations. Now, because I had that happen to me at one of my houses, and I had to pay for the folks to come and jack up my house 1/8 of an inch. So do you check the foundation to make sure that the foundation is solid, that it won't crack, that it won't subside, or whatever the case might be? You do that.
Well, I do visually evaluate the foundation. Most of you are going to be in a slab home, so I can only see the part that's outside.
And
If
my house was on a slab.
yeah,
Okay,
so
they were able to take lasers and do the thing, and they could tell that over time it had sunk 1/8 of an inch.
Hmm.
And so I had to
Well,
have it jacked up. But
if-
my home warranty was out of the 10 years. So that's one of my questions. The second question is, do I have to wait till the end of my build? Like, for instance, the one gentleman that just said something about their steps. I mean, if I bring you on board to be my inspector, why don't I have you do that before I'm walking into my house?
I do pre-drywall inspection, so that's an inspection before drywall goes up. And I do new home inspections. That's an inspection before your walkthrough with the builder usually. So maybe a week or 10 days before closing, I provide a report to my clients. They send it to the builder. And I guess that's what they talk about during their walkthrough. You know, let's get this outlet right. Let's get these steps right, that sort of thing. And then I do the builder's warranty inspections as well. That's the 10 or 11-month warranty. And in terms of the foundation, we don't do technically exhaustive work. We're a generalist. So if I see cracks in your ceilings, cracks around your doors, cracks around your windows, if I see clues that says there's been structural movement, or cracks in your foundation that are bigger than they should be or offset, then yeah, I'm writing it up. I'm doing a foundation inspection, a visual one. And then we're also looking for clues all over the place. One of the first things I do when I arrive is I talk to the homeowner about what they've seen and what are your concerns. And I take those concerns with me through the inspection. It's like, oh, our walls are cracking all over. Our doors won't lock. Our doors won't close anymore. It's like, we've got some movement.
Yeah.
So yeah, the foundation's part of it. It's not technically exhaustive. I would say go get, my report would probably say go get those guys with the laser and let's get a general contractor to fix it or further evaluate it. But I'm there for 3 or 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours maybe, and I've got a lot of systems to do, and I'm sort of the crossroads. I'm not the HVAC guy. I'm not the specialist in HVAC that has HVAC license. But it was, okay, these things are happening that aren't correct. Let's go get one of those guys. So
Yeah, okay.
I'm the kind of the middle guy.
All right, thanks.
Jack?
Yes, I will take myself off mute. Jeff just did pre-framing inspection for us. So thank you, Jeff. It was very, very thorough.
Yes, I remember. Thank you.
So to Karen and I'm sorry, I forgot the names, but yeah, Jeff does pre-work inspection stuff. It was very thorough. What I particularly appreciated was not only the pictures of the fault, but the pictures that you added on what good looks like. So that, I mean, I literally was able to walk through with your report and kind of take a look at what you were pointing out, and I could see it and I could understand it. And so tomorrow we actually have our meeting with the builder tomorrow to go through. We also are having our formal second framing inspection done tomorrow. So I think part of your report, which was provided a week or so ago, helped remediate some of those potential issues that we're going to have in framing inspection tomorrow. But good, thank you. I really appreciate it. And as was pointed out, some of the things were like, we better get to deal with that. Other things were like, probably not going to worry about that. Some of it was futuristic. You pointed out things that we've already known about that were going to be dealt with as we got to that point in construction. But like the fire door for the garage to the house, right? You pointed out the need for it. It's not installed yet, right? So that's something that just we point out and go, oh, let's make sure that we get that taken care of when it comes in. But thank you. Money well spent. Really appreciate the thoroughness. Great job.
Thank you, Jack.
All right, terrific. Rocco, did you have a question?
I do. So part of my build is being funded through a construction loan. And the bank has inspectors that come out at various stages. Do you work with banks, or are you supplemental to what to that inspection?
Yeah, we provide a different service. The bank comes out and it says, okay, are the countertops in? Is the driveway in? Is the door in? Is the windows in? If they're there, it passes. I'm looking at the driveway. Is it chalking? Is it cracking? Does the countertop have movement? Do the windows open? So I'm looking at their function. Are they right? And the bank's looking to see if they're there. You know, do you have a driveway? Yes, check. I'm out of here.
Okay. All right. And then how far in advance do we need? Like if I want you out there for my pre-sheetrock inspection, let's say, how far in advance do I need to contact you?
We should be talking about 2 weeks in advance, and or more. You know, I have clients call me before they even break ground. And, you know, I get the house plans, I write up a quote, a home inspection agreement, and then I give them some timing guidelines, like here's when I'll come, here's how you might want to share it with your builder, you know, that sort of thing. But I would say 2 weeks is plenty. 4, 6, 8 weeks, you know, that's good too. When you sign an agreement with me for a home inspection, or a series of home inspections during your build, you're not committing to do them. You're just committing to pay me if you call me and ask me to do them. So you decide not to do the pre-drywall, I won't even know. You decide not to do the final, I won't even know. Then you call me a year and a half later, it's like, yeah, I'm glad to inspect your home, you know, before that builder's warranty is up.
Okay, so that's the next step. We send you our architect plans, and then we have a discussion as to the number of inspections or the pricing for each of the different possible inspections that there are.
I'm going to give you pricing for all the possible inspections, and you'll decide which ones you want.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Anybody else have any questions for Jeff?
Just one.
Hi there, it's Alice. I have a question. So I've never built in North Carolina, so I know things are a little bit different. So with the inspection, and you give us a report, and we're just starting to break ground, so I really should give you a call and get all these inspections done. Are they required to fix them? Let's say you found something, is this something that you, and I bring it to them and go, hey, you know, this isn't right. And they say, well, you know, it passed our inspection, we're not going to do it. Is this something that's negotiable, or?
Oh, good word. Yes, everything's negotiable. And as a real estate broker, I'm negotiating with the builder, I'm negotiating with the seller. I've had some clients, for instance, there were some structural issues with the house, and they got, you know, the builder passed inspection. The client said, no, you're going to fix those. And they said, no, we passed inspection. So the client calls up the inspection department and says, hey, you missed this. I want you to pull their approval. So they pulled and then they had to go get it fixed and reinspect. So as an advocate, you can take any course of action you'd like. You can say, I'm not going to pay you. I'm going to get my attorney. You can get your attorney. Guess what? When the attorney gets in the situation, everything gets fixed. They're like, okay, we're done with this. Yes, sir. No, sir. Everybody sits up straight. Those guys demand a lot of respect. And so you are your own advocate unless you have a real estate broker or a buyer's agent on your behalf. And you're going to advocate for yourself. And I'll give you the things to advocate on, but you'll be the one. And you know, there's some bad apple builders out there, but mostly they want to work together in good faith. And you know, electrical hazard, broken trusses, you know, roof leaks, you're going to trip and fall down the steps. They're going to fix that. They know they have a duty to fix it. And you know, people don't wake up in the morning and say, I really want to go build a dangerous house. They don't want to. And they don't do what I do. I can't seem to build a house in shorter than a year and a half or 2 years. Many builders can build in 6 months. So I don't do what they do either. You know, we're just different parts of the puzzle.
And I have one other question. So is the homeowner present during your inspection? Is that something that you prefer, or that you can go, hey, this is leaking here, or whatever?
Well, if the homeowner's living in the house, they're usually present. They're
Oh,
working, they're working on the computer. Maybe they follow me around a little bit.
I
and
guess I'm thinking, because I'm out of state, and so, in building a new home, so is that something
I'm
that you prefer somebody to be in
usually,
there?
well, I need to be alone with my thoughts during the
Oh,
inspection because
got
I
it.
have to concentrate on the home. Um, if I'm talking and this and that, then I've lost focus on the home, and it just sort of falls apart. I really have to focus on the home. So I inspect pre-drywall. Very rarely will my client be there. For the new home inspections, brand spanking new, sometimes they're showing up at the end, and I'm saying, okay, here are the 4 or 5 dangerous things or really severe things. But the discussion at the end is pretty basic. It's
Okay.
it's kind of a general discussion, like it's a good home, but this and that and the other. And the report comes in, and that's got a lot of detail, and that's organized like roofing, drainage. It's just more organized and together. So no, you don't have to be there. Um,
Okay.
and I don't do a lot of discussion on site just because I'm pouring my energy into the house, not the relationship.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Anybody else? So Jeff's information was on the email. Jeff, why don't you just give everybody your email again? It's a lot easier because it's here on the recording, and I will make sure that I add it again when I send out this meeting recording. But just that everybody who is sitting at their sitting at their desks now with
Sure.
pen and paper.
Well, my website for home inspection is above par, PAR, homeinspection.com. And that's got all kinds of ways to contact me there. My direct email is jeff@diligentrealty.com. And I had no foresight when I bought these names, so I'm just going to spell it out. DILIGENTREALTY.com. So that's, but you can Google Jeff Terry, home inspector, Wilmington. I'm going to come up. That's the easiest way.
And that's terrific. And as I said, I'll make sure that it's in, and it was in the email from today as well. So Jeff, thank you so much. There's a lot to think about. I know everybody's minds are spinning with all different kinds of things that we're going to start looking for. And we know where to find you. And thank you so much, Sandy and Brian, for sharing your experience, and Jack as well. I know that a lot of us are learning. This is the first time that we're building a new. How many people are building a house for the first time? There's a lot of us. We're trying to learn. So we appreciate your expertise. We appreciate your coming on tonight, and you're welcome to hang out, or you're welcome to go put your feet up and relax and have it. I know you have reports to do tonight, right?
Oh no, I have no more reports tonight.
Oh, good.
I'm going to go watch some TV with my wife.
Sounds like a plan. But thank you so much, and we look forward to it. Thank you again
thank you
again for coming.
Robin and community. Thank you.
Yeah, I sorry, I just have a question. Did you say you were going to go over pricing, or is that after we email you?
It's after I see the house. I'll assign a price that kind of matches with the complexity of your home and the size of your home.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Have a great night.
Okay.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
So a lot of information there, guys, huh?
Yeah, that was good.
Hey,
Yeah.
Rocco, as a ballpark, our house is, I don't know, about 4,000 square feet, heated, air conditioned because of the sunroom and the 3-car. Anyway, and about $900 for the home warranty.
That was the final inspection.
Yeah, 900. Yeah.
Okay.
That was for it. It's around like 500 or 600. I want to say for like around like 25 to 2,800 square feet, and then it just increases a little bit. So
yeah, no, it seems well worth it, and I think
it was well worth it.
the pre-sheetrock inspection seems to be really key. That's a
Yeah, I
big one
wish-
that you want.
We wish we would have done that
Yeah,
too.
that's-
You know, we got his name from a few other people and they were really happy with him and he did I mean, Brian, I wasn't here when Jeff was here, but he was here a long time.
Yeah, I followed around for part of it, but then the thing that, back to his point, he was, you know, he wasn't showing me, he was showing me a few things, but not a lot, just telling me stuff. And then when I got the report, I went around and tried to find every one of those discrepancies because I'm gonna do the reinspection. You know, the builder's gonna come and do the repair, and then
Yeah.
I'll go back and I wanna make sure I understand what it was beforehand, so I can understand what, you know, how it should be fixed.
And so far, our builder's been, you know, they're pretty, you know, they came and they're gonna fix the trusses, the roof is being fixed as we speak.
That's great.
They're not giving us a hard time about anything, so that's, you know, it's code, so they, what?
No, that's fine. I'm just saying that our house was built during the height of COVID, and
Yeah,
I think that hurt some of the quality. I think things may be better now. I will tell you that I contacted the county code inspection office about one item. And yeah, that will get the builder's attention. That got their attention.
You think the pre-drywall inspection costs the same amount as the final inspections?
It's probably a hair cheaper, I would think, because I would think it'd be a little easier and quicker, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't get that one, but yeah, so you can kind of figure $600-700 a stage or something,
It's-
you know.
It's cheaper than that. Well, it depends on the size of the house. I think,
Yeah.
like he said, it's
Yeah,
square
it does.
footage and then, you know, the various systems that have to be inspected. I think ours was under 500, 450, something like that for that phase. And then we'll have another invoice. I forgot what it was. It's not terrible for the final.
Yeah, that's money well spent right there.
Yeah,
He
absolutely.
found some stuff that I had already seen, which was like great. He saw it. He saw some things that we didn't see. I really like the fact that, I mean, the trusses and the structure, you know, was illuminating. I mean,
Yes,
he
it
really was
was.
detailed, very detailed. I was like, well, I didn't see that.
it's
And
kind of
he's,
like, I go in everybody's homes that are being built and I'm taking pictures for, I'm like, okay, I'm looking up at the trusses constantly to see if I see anything.
I know, he was down to the size of nails that were used to fasten the you know, the beams together. So, you know.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and there's a lot. You know, and I agree with you, Rocco, you know, that pre-drywall, just because everything's nice and open and
Yeah.
it mitigate a lot of issues before they become. So, yeah, he came really highly recommended. You know, Sandy and Brian really recommended him, and everybody I'm speaking to seemed to have been using him as well. And Alice, that was a great question, you know, as far as being there, because the chances are he'll probably get through it a lot more focused if we're not following him around, and, you know, certainly for the drywall.
Yeah, but I would also say, you know, when you get his report, well, I'll caveat it, because he told me this story. So here's how they build the house. You know, they're scheduling the drywall. Say, okay, well, we'll be ready for the drywall, you know, on Friday. All right, so they're working all week on studs, on trusses, on everything else until Thursday late afternoon. He said if for one house, he did his walkthrough pre-drywall on Thursday, had forgotten the ladder, came back Friday morning, and they're already putting sheetrock up on Friday morning.
Wow.
So yeah, you won't be able to find any of those things again.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is really terrific. So yes, a lot, you know, a lot. And as I said, I'm going to put his information in there, and it's pretty easy. And if you need anything else, you know, certainly give me a call. So let's open up the floor to see what's going on, how people's houses are doing. Anybody have a move-in date?
Is that your front porch, Robin?
That is my front porch. Yes.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, this is
What's the
behave. Yeah,
household?
this is picture. But hold on, this is picture.
Wow.
That'll be the look for my front
Wow, that looks
door.
beautiful. I love
Yes, and that is courtesy of Una Walter. So She is my official house photographer. But the only thing missing from this picture is Homer. So we need to get this same picture, Sandy, of Homer in the doorway. Oh, my sleeping baby.
Oh,
Homer.
Homer, there's Robin.
I thought his head was gonna pop up from the other end.
Yeah. So it's, Homer
And
definitely.
anybody in front of your house this week, Robin? So that's why I haven't taken any pictures.
No, they've been working on, they finished up the last of the framing. They have a little bit more, a couple of things to do. This week, you're gonna see dirt, more dirt. They're gonna start filling things in.
Okay.
And they're gonna start doing roughing.
Okay,
So,
I'll keep an eye out.
yeah, it should be interesting. It should be very interesting.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that's my front. So Pam, what have they been doing on your house that surprised you guys, Pam and Bob?
No, I guess they just did the plumbing. They're supposed to start of course, we'll probably miss the inspection of what we just saw, but they're going to get ready to do drywall here soon. But I think we'll definitely go ahead with that, the inspection later on. And we did find a couple things though, whereas we found they supposed to have a window in one of our bedrooms that was totally covered up. So, and there was another thing we found was a off-centered window that Pam found that because comes from an engineering family, so she found that right away.
Let me ask you, the window that's missing, was that in the plans or was it missing from the plan, like the plans that they're working off?
No,
of?
it was in the plans. It's in the plans. It's in the plans.
Okay.
And he says, I can't believe I missed that one. And and also in our plans we had we're putting 2 electrical floor outlets in our living room instead of having the one. We paid for it, put it in our change order, and they have to rip up the concrete and put my 2 electrical outlets in the floor and remove the one that's in the middle. So you do got to keep on top of them.
Yeah, that's scary when you're not there.
I know, but we'll be back here in December during the meeting, and
yeah,
We'll be there for December also. I'm
But,
looking forward to it.
Yeah, which is terrific. So I'm just going to repeat for those who didn't hear, that those who are going to be in for the POA in December, we are having, thanks to the Sandy and Brian and to Mary and John, we are doing a progressive dinner. So I think we said we were going to start around 5. So we're going to start with drinks and hors d'oeuvres and whatever else people want to bring at Sandy and Brian's house. And all the information will be in the email. And then we're going to go for dessert and after dinner drinks and a Secret Santa at Mary and John's house afterwards. Everybody is invited. So if there's other people that are part of the group that don't see this or whatever, we should be having a lot of fun. And we're going to do a Secret Santa with a $25 limit on it. And remember that a lot of us are flying home. So no ginormous things that we need to take on a plane. Otherwise, they're going to be staying in John and Una's garage and Sandy and Brian's house. Well, not Brian's garage, and that's not going to happen. Just and things that are for your home. You know, and something fun for your home.
Is this Friday or Saturday?
This is going to be Friday night.
Friday, okay.
It's Friday night. Saturday night is the developers shindig. So for those of you who have never been to a POA, has anybody not been to a POA meeting yet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That'll be our first.
Yeah, they do a really nice. So Alice, you're coming in too. Yay. They have like an open bar. I've never seen bar. I usually send Michael to the bar. Is it just beer and wine or are there other things? I don't remember. Michael, is there just
I remember the beer, but I don't remember.
Okay, and I remember the wine. And then there's food and usually a really good band, and we all hang out and do all of that. And then
so Robin,
yes,
I was reading the notice today, and it said that the social is going to be from 3 p.m. to 5. So it's not really an all night thing. You know, I don't want to give anybody the impression that it's like at 8 o'clock at night.
No, it's always been from 3 to 5, and then we end up hanging out because they want everybody, people are going out for dinner. Who knows what happens after that? And then the POA meeting is at the Ballast downtown. And I believe it says that it starts at 10, but their breakfast will start at 9. Did everybody get their letter? If they've been home, something should have arrived in the mail today.
Came today.
It came today. So all that information is there. If anybody has questions for Doug, for those of you who haven't been there, he normally doesn't do a question and answer. So a POA meeting is more like a State of the Union than a town square. But he will answer questions. If you have your own personal questions, he will answer them personally. He'll give you a call. So don't be afraid to put some of those questions out there. As far as anything that's coming up, the clubhouse is on its way. The kayak racks have been installed. Sandy and Mary, have you gone down to see the new kayak racks?
They're standing there. They're there. I don't know if they're actually installed yet, but they're down there by the water.
So are they by the Riverwalk? Are they down by the gazebo?
They're down by the river, yes.
They're kind of near the road right now.
By the boat launch, okay.
Yeah.
So, I think we just put up the communications, the new blurbs. One part of them are going to be for kayaks that are open to everybody else. You know, the things that are like communal kayaks that the people from the kayak club are allowing other people to use. And then the other rack is going to be there for things that are locked. So that was the update on that. Anybody else have stuff that they'd like to share? Anything we need to know? Anybody moving in before the POA?
Well, Robin, our next door neighbors are moving in or have moved in this past weekend.
I was gonna just announce that Sean and Tiffany are finally in their house. Hooray! Which is great.
Right.
I haven't seen Tim in a while. Has anybody seen or spoken to Tim and Allison?
I have not. I have not talked to them. I know the last time I spoke with him, he was talking about they were going to Hawaii to visit with one of their kids.
Oh, they're gonna go. Oh, so they're gonna go to Hawaii. Okay.
Yeah. So
just trying to.
They may be away.
Now.
Yeah.
We're gonna see him tomorrow.
Oh, good. Okay. So, tell them that we missed them. We're just, asking about everybody moving in. Jeff, are you getting any closer to a date? What's your story?
Ted told us anytime between the 7th and the 21st, but I don't know. Who knows?
Of what month?
Of December. December.
And that's this year?
Yeah. Well, I know the cabinets are ordered, the granite's done. I mean, so all of that stuff, I know the insulation is in, they're getting ready to sheetrock, the plumbing's all done. So
the activity at Southern Pines Homes has definitely picked up.
Yeah.
That's a good thing, yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah. There's
Jeff,
a lot more
can I ask
stuff
you?
in all the houses, yeah.
Jeff, can I ask you guys if you use the Owens flooring now with Ted? Did you switch over to them?
To the Owens flooring?
Right, because which tile and floor place were you using?
Well, we had gone with USA Floors.
Right.
And then Jeannie just came back last week and she had a meeting with Ted. We had done a lot of our tile work through Dal Tile.
Okay.
And Dal Tile's a national company, and we actually have a Dal Tile here at home, which was kind of nice because you can go in and look, and
yes,
find
and you can go into the showrooms.
Yeah,
we actually went into the showroom down there and met with that girl, Lori, which was great. But he's not working with USA anymore. The last time we went down, there was a whole thing. So he had sent us to Owens and we had to kind of re-pick out everything again.
Hey Patty, this is
Yeah.
Keith and Karen, and
Hi, Keith.
we were just there, and we were going through. We had looked at different places because we don't just take the one thing, but we went back to Owens, and the first time it was kind of introductory, but the second time they were totally ready for us.
Oh, great.
They had all the tile that we picked out and everything else, but then we had already done some other homework because, like Karen and I, we just go out and hey, let's go to Floor and Decor, or let's go here, let's go there, because we live in Virginia.
Right.
Okay, so we get a lot of ideas. So
Right.
then we go back down there, but this time Owens was very good. In fact, we actually found some carpet here that we liked, and we went back to them. Do you have this? And they said, we don't have it here, but we can get to it because they can get it. So it's Jared and Nicole.
Yes.
Jared and Nicole, Jared's very smart, but Nicole understands design and colors.
Right.
And so if you get both of them, it's kind of a nice thing.
Well, we did. We actually went. Ted got us in like the next day because it was very recent that the whole thing happened with USA. So we went in. We had Bertha, but Nicole was there, and Jared was there as well. So I would just wait, and they are going to look for a specific tile that we were looking at. But I was just curious to see if Jeff had, being that you're right neck and neck with us.
Yeah, I mean, thank God Jeannie went down. It was kind of an opportune time to go down. And she was able, thank God. I mean, Jeannie's best friend lives down there now, so she was able to run her around. And
oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, yeah. But Bertha was great. She was, she helped us out, and then she sent us to Dow Tile, where we met Lori, who was fantastic. Because we had done a lot of footwork up here with the different tile stores, but then you still have to have a place where Ted's going to be able to have the construction crew through that tile store to do the work.
Right. Right.
Yeah. That's what was confusing to me. We weren't kind of like realizing that that's what he needed.
Right. Also, if you find someplace that that isn't in his bag of tricks, he'll accommodate you.
Yeah.
Right.
Like for instance, his cabinet guy, great cabinets, but he's overpriced as far as the vanities and as far as because I don't know about you guys, but the vanities in the upstairs and all that stuff, and you don't have to go crazy and everything else. We actually found a place in Torrance, California, went out there, inspected it, and Ted says, no problem, I'll order them and I'll have them installed.
Oh, great.
So if you need the name of the place, it's American made. It's American designed, and then they have it all built in Vietnam. Then it's all sent back here for free, all the way to Ted, and Ted has all the instructions on what to do once it arrives.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it's nothing is particle board or that MDF. It's all wood.
It's all solid wood with tongue and groove. Unless you get a different design.
What was the name of that place?
I think it's called Kitchen and Bath Collection.
Kitchen and Bath Collection, but we can send it to you.
I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, please.
I mean, no kidding. We went out to, because my family lives out near Big Bear, so we were going out to Big Bear. So when we were there, Torrance was right by the airport. Went by there one day, looked at it, all different colors, all different designs. Okay, it's marble. Okay, Corona marble. Okay, but for our upstairs vanities and stuff like that, it wasn't important to us. Okay, and so. But it was all nicely made woodcraft, and I do a lot of woodcrafting myself. And I was sitting there looking for all the possible screw ups that they could make, and there was no screw ups. I mean, the only thing I could possibly say is the hardware. I might change out the hardware, okay, but the hardware comes with what you order.
Okay.
So.
Good. Yeah, I'd appreciate that link because we're in the same situation. Our cabinet maker who's doing our kitchen, we're not having him do our guest bathrooms or our powder room or anything just because it's too expensive.
Right. Yeah, because like in our master bath, we have that's important to us. The upstairs bathrooms, they're important, but they're not that important.
Right.
I mean, If our relatives and our guests don't like marble versus granite, that's their tough luck.
But also, you're gonna be using your master all the time, whereas
Yep.
your guests,
Yes.
how often are you gonna have them? They're not gonna be used as often.
Yep.
Right, exactly. That's how Karen and I think. And so, but she's gonna type in the chat the information, but the girl, they're not the best as far as customer service because they're there in a warehouse. And you go in and you see everything that's made. Okay. And they have a website and you can see the website and it's actually a very good website. In fact, Karen's doing it right now.
Okay,
So,
great.
anyway, give me,
Patty, where's
Thank
your house at?
ours is 3943 Flint Rock Road,
It's lot 417.
lot 417.
Yeah, and Patty, you're right next door to us.
Yes, we're at 716 on Rivergate.
Yeah, what stage is your house at?
So as of last week, it's still, we still don't have any sheetrock or anything up yet.
Yeah.
But Ed has us coming the week right after Thanksgiving to kind of do right as it's, or right as he's gonna start putting it up, right? Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Oh, cool. Suzanne, what's going on with your house?
Well, right now they think they're getting ready to do the windows, the roof. Yeah, I think that, yeah, he said within the next week or two, I think the windows were being delivered and the roof was going to start, they were going to start the roof.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I heard the
Yeah.
framework's gonna be there for a while. Randy and Nadine, do you guys have a move-in date? Like what's going on in your house? You were speed dating there. What's going on?
We're close to getting a move-in date. Hopefully Nadine will pick one up when she's down there this week.
Hopefully.
Yeah. We're doing our shot skin mode tonight, by the way. We're independent windows. Except she's in North Carolina and I'm in Maryland. Yeah, our cabinets are all in. The trim is in, except for some final pieces in the kitchen. If Nadine's lucky, she'll see countertops installed when she's in the house on Wednesday. They're supposed to go in this week. But yeah, they were kind of waiting to that point to give us a firm close date. So the schedule says December, but with the holidays in there, I can see it drifting into January. And then we have a rent back availability on our current home until February 1st. So hopefully we'll be able to do our move mid-January and it'll be a mild January.
Yeah. Will, it will.
Yeah, it's got to be mild in Maryland as well, though.
That's so sure.
I don't know. They keep changing the reports. I don't know. They're saying warm and it's cold. We have a freeze alert here on Long Island.
Yeah.
It's been pretty chilly at night here.
Bundled up.
Yeah.
Robin, you're bundled up for being in North Carolina. You're dressed like it's winter.
I'm cold. I'm sitting here. I'm actually kind of chilly today, but
Hey, Mike, turn the heat on, would you?
no, I'm
I know.
We're doing he's upstairs where it's warm and I'm downstairs where it's colder. I gotta wear all of it now so that next winter I'm not gonna have to worry about it. So
If I can get Robin to give me 65 degrees, I'm thrilled. I'm wearing my hooded sweatshirt in the house.
This is the heat miser right here.
That's right.
it's all right, Jeannie, you'll have a place in my house anytime. You and I can freeze them out. The guys can go find someplace else to sit. It's all
There you
good.
go.
Never a worry. Absolutely never a worry. But Sandy, you're sitting there with the sweatshirt on. Yeah.
Oh, Sandy. You're on mute, Sandy. Oh, there she goes.
No, she's still on mute.
At least Sandy has the dog to keep her feet warm.
Absolutely, absolutely. Homer's definitely. So Debbie, what's going on with your house?
We're getting cabinets put in, so
Yay.
Countertops, I'm hoping is going to happen soon, and we have an estimated closing date of early January, but we got to wait for the countertops to go in.
Okay, terrific.
So we're going to be the first one kind of down that way, I think, moving in.
And where is your lot now?
We're before you. As soon as you turn on Bay Colony, we're on Orange Manor.
Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
we're the first one on the right.
First one on
Your
the
house has been
right.
going fast.
Yeah, that's really fast.
Yeah,
Because you were framing what? When were we down there?
we started framing in July. Well,
July.
I
You
think it was
framing?
July. Yeah,
Yeah.
late July.
Exciting.
It's exciting.
Oh, yeah.
And they're telling you January, huh? So that's, what is that? That's 7 to
We've got
5.
about 2 months. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're what, 7 months build?
We started when we broke ground June 26th. June 26th when we broke ground. We had some issue, obviously we had to get the permits for our area. And then we had to get permits. We had to also deal with the HOA. We wanted to remove some trees and they gave us a hard time. So we kind of broke ground at the end of June. So yeah, it'll be about a 7-month build.
That's great. Wow.
Yeah.
Your house is coming along pretty fast.
And who is your builder?
Trust.
Okay. No, and so it's really interesting. Those of you, some people have been living down there for, you got Sandy been down there for a while, John and Mary been down there for a while. My biggest thing is in the middle of this build. I think the inspection is a wonderful thing. I'm just curious, and Jack, you had a bunch of things that you looked at, and Jeff, you were talking about a bunch of things. Is how did you, Sandy, how did you approach your builder with the problems, and how did you broach that particular?
Okay, when we got the report and he gave us the report probably about Jeff gave it to us probably like 5 or 6 days after he walked through our house. And so Brian, we went and looked at all this stuff and everything, and with Bill Clark, and I don't know how all the other builders are. We have what's called a portal where we put stuff in that needs to be repaired. Like I had a transom window that had a crack in it, just various things. And so Brian put 48 things back in the portal. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall. But anyway, it did not surprise them at all. I mean, there's a new builder rep because they're building a bunch of Bill Clark homes, and he's here all the time. And so basically they were right on it. I mean, it wasn't like they were that surprised that, we would put stuff in there. I think they're used to a lot of people getting home inspections.
Mm-hmm.
And they're used to having those issues. So far, so good. That they're right on everything. Yeah.
No, great. So yeah, I want to recognize Gretchen and Tim. This is their first meeting with a camera on. They have been watching all of us for the last year, and now they are here. So I just wanted you guys to introduce yourselves and tell everybody a little bit about where you're coming from and about your build.
We're Gretchen and Tim Martin. We currently live in Western Frederick County, Maryland. We bought our lot in April of 21, and we're building with Coastal Cypress on the back of Fallen Pear, lot 458. So we're right down the street from Randy and Nadine. And they cleared our lot about 10 days ago, and they have some of the stuff on the lot right now. We got an update today that they put a sandy pot on the lot, so that means they're ready to start.
Good for you.
Footers and all that good stuff. So we're just getting started.
Cool.
Awesome, and welcome. And Barbara, how are you doing?
I'm good. Okay. I'm just taking this all in. I'm just listening. We're gonna go down. We'll be down in the summer to, sign the contract and start the process. So I'm just taking all this stuff in, learning from everyone, taking in notes. And I'm like, wow, home inspectors. You know?
Well, so have you purchased a lot yet?
Yes, we have a lot. We're on Bay Colony.
Okay. Are you like properly looking for builders? Have you decided on a builder?
We're gonna go with Kent.
Okay.
But yeah, what number lot am I? 190? I think I was 190. I think I'm 190. I forget now, right now. But yeah, so I'm just taking it all in, listening, learning, absorbing it all up. So
No, awesome. Are you going to be in for the POA meeting?
no, we won't be. We're in New Jersey, so there's no way I can get down for that meeting kind of thing. So
no worries. No, but no, we're so glad. And one of the things that we're putting together, we spoke about at the last meeting, is I'm trying to put something together for new residents and new people who have not yet moved in. And I've been asking people questions. I've been getting some great answers, but what you wish that you had known, or what you wish that people had told you. So if there's anything that you're thinking of that you wish that you had known, that would have helped, I know. Thank you, Patty. John sent me a great email, starting all good things, because I love to know how you found us. I love to know, how we can get communication out, because there's a lot of people who say, I didn't even know that this group existed. Boy, that would have really helped when we were building. So that's why at the POA meeting, I try to get around to speak to a lot of the new people, because it is a day when a lot of people are in town. And if there's anybody that you get to meet as you're walking around and they don't know about us, just tell them to go. The owner's portal seems to be a big hole that people don't know about it. So we're trying to get everything together. We're doing the best that we can. There's a lot of really great stuff coming. I'm trying to think if there's anything coming from Bragg that I can spill the beans on. Nothing monumental, but the commercial kitchen is going to be coming into the new clubhouse. There's going to be a lot of really great stuff happening. The dog park. But I would, because I do have a superstar here. Jack, would you like to mention the new group that we've been working on, and give a little bit of information about what's going on?
I'm not sure it's superstar.
You are.
Might be sucker. We'll see. So for better or for worse, one of my interests is gardening. And so a number of months ago, after one of these meetings, I sent a note to Pat that says, hey, what's up with the community garden? And Pat sent me back a note and says, working on it. And then a couple of, I don't know, a month or so later, I sent another note to Pat, says, hey, what's the status? She says, go talk to Bob Conger. So I did. And Bob said, thank you very much. We're looking for someone to help us implement this community garden. You're hired. And I didn't walk away right there. I actually suggested that I perhaps had some interest, and I do have some interest. It's been evolving over the last probably, what do you think now? 6 weeks, 8 weeks now, I think, Robin. So there is going to be a community garden for the Bluffs. So that is a fact that will happen. It's going to be done. And so that is locked in. The land is allocated. The Bluffs development is allocating fencing for the project, which will be also cohabitated or right next to where the dog park will be. They will provide water to the space, and it's a pretty huge space. It's to the west of the RV facility parking right now, just outside of the construction gate, and it's 19,000 square feet. It's pretty huge. I'm walking a bit of a balance because we can only go as fast as the priorities kind of percolate up from the Bluffs development. And I'm trying not to get too far out in front of my skis on getting enthusiasm and everybody ready to go plant something when in fact we're not quite ready to do that. But we are getting pretty close. So in the next couple of weeks, you'll start to see some communications. There's going to be 2 Team Reach groups. One is BCGA, Bluffs Community Garden Advisors, and one is BCGA 88 and BCGU 77. Advisors will be a group of individuals that are as interested and passionate and gullible as me, that will step in and take a leadership role in working with the development team to help innovate and motivate and manipulate the current design so that we can get it into a composition that a lot of people will enjoy. The concept right now is just a placeholder concept of basically 100 raised bed beds, which when it's all said and done will not be what happens, but it'll take on a different iteration. But there will be some quantity of raised bed gardening potential in that, along with some other options that I'm advocating for. So right now, if you're interested in getting an early start on joining one of those 2 groups, you can sign up on Team Reach right now. BCGA 88, BCGU 77. In the next couple of weeks, probably cascading into the POA meeting in December, we'll start to have a sequence of communications that will inform people of what's going to happen and why is it going to happen and what are the opportunities. And then ultimately, if all kind of syncs up, fence will go in maybe by the end of the year, maybe by the end of January. I don't know. It's kind of on Bluffs time. And so I'm advocating to have it ready to go for at least spring planting if possible. But in front of that, we need to get some advisory going on so that we can influence what the ultimate outcome of that will, at least in the first phase. And you have to think about this in a long view. We've got 19,000 square feet of dirt right now. Literally, there's nothing there. In 6 months, there will be something small there. In 1 year, there will be something bigger there. But over the course of the next 3 years, the next 4 years, if it all goes well, it could become quite an interesting and nice experience for the community. And so we sort of have to roll our way into evolving experience and capabilities of what it's going to look like. So I will be, at least in the beginning of this, providing enough energy and coordination and leadership to at least get the early foundations built. And then, in a year from now, who knows, maybe somebody else on this call will want to take it over and run it to its next phase. Or maybe I'll be so energized that I'll just I can't let this go.
You're not going to get. So, Jack and I started brainstorming about a bunch of these different things, and you don't want me, Michael will tell you, you don't want me touching anything green that grows. So I thought it was pretty funny that he called me to speak about it, but we got so jazzed about creating something really unique for the Bluffs, that would be getting children involved, that we'd be, imagine if the kids could grow vegetables and then donate them to a local food pantry. If we could do a cutting garden so that I know that Mary goes to, I think Sandy, you go too, that goes to the flower arranging group. How cool would it be if we had a place there where there were cuttings for flowers where we could now grow those things? A pumpkin patch so that we could grow our own pumpkins that goes away, a sunflower field, maybe a butterfly garden or a pollination garden that's over there as the time goes on. Maybe a pergola where you can kind of sit and relax with all this beautiful stuff around you. So even though you may not want a bed and you may not be growing something there, we're looking for a place where everybody in the community, or a lot of more people in the community, could enjoy the garden and find other things. Maybe we do an herb garden where you pay $20 a year or whatever to be able to go and cut fresh herbs as you're making dinner.
Vegetables.
Yeah, beer garden.
Beer
There you go.
Hey, listen,
We'll
somebody
grill
else could have
hops.
been, yeah,
Yeah.
well, that'll be the dog park at night. We'll just
Yeah.
turn the dog park at night. It'll have a little shade and we'll multi-use. I just, Doug is open to a lot of these ideas. He cautions us about, we're only 150 homes right now, and then eventually there'll be more. But I don't know, I'm watching people's faces when we talk about the raised beds and things like that. I think that there's a need for it. It'll be a paid amenity. It is not a deeded piece of property. And I know, Jack, that was one of the questions a lot of people had from the very beginning. So it's a pay to play for those beds.
Yeah, and we'll get into all of that. And I mean, at the end of the day, you'd be hard pressed to build one in your backyard for much less, to be fair. It would be nix on what it would cost you to build your own versus what they're going to do. But it has to be the right fit for the right people. There's going to be folks that, I like, for example, to work out in my house. I don't like to go to the local gym. Some people love going to the gym and interacting with other people, and that's their thing, right? Well, this is an opportunity for people that want to get out and to enjoy one another and, kind of get your hands in the dirt. And there's a ton of things that we can do. And it could be really, really fun and exciting if we just have a little bit of creativity. There are some constraints, right? We can't just go out and put a zoo out there, right? The Bluffs Community Development Group wants a piece of property that is representative of the community, that adheres to the standards that we all want. What we don't want is to have a bunch of people get excited and throw seeds in the dirt and let it go to weed. And the next thing you know, we've got a big patch of weeds sitting down at the entrance of the building, right? So that wouldn't be a good thing either. So, but we'll get to it. We're formulating a lot of different ideas. This is just sort of a pre-announcement of anybody that's there. But I'm a little. I'm probably not selling it. I'm not trying to sell it to you, but Robin is much better salesperson than I am, frankly. But at the end of the day, I think there will be something for everybody in that environment, whether you're into, for example, woodworking and you want to contribute something to the garden, whether you're into photography and you want to do something, whether you want to do, education, there'll be opportunities to do some type of education. There's going to be just a ton. I could imagine the restaurant wanting a herb garden there to go, kind of go field to table to field thing right there, right? So there's a ton of things that we could imagine to do. But we do have to kind of stay within some of the boundaries that we're going to be prescripted to us. So I'll work our way through that over the next few months. But join us.
It's a great idea, and then the staged approach, to start out small and then it'll have it grow as the community grows instead of trying to go grandiose all at once, and it's overwhelming and never.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I'm thinking about. Is a phase one, a phase two, kind of like the way the community is released today, right? We've got phase one, phase two, phase three. Roads get put in, whatever. Water is going to be brought in. We're going to have to figure out how to, effectively deliver water to an ever expanding plot of land. There's going to be a ton of things to think through. But I think it can be organized in such a way that it will satisfy multiple dreams and desires and interests. So I'd focus on that. I think they're. Never mind. I'm going to stop talking.
No, but this is actually, I'm also we have a bunch of groups that are starting up now for the next phase, which is actually really great, even if you're not living there yet and you haven't moved in. It's a great way to start understanding how things are working, to have a say in how things are going. And this could be a really interesting place for so many reasons. But to just have a bunch of raised beds for me as a resident is not a pull, because it's not something, you don't want anything that I'm going to grow. But if I have the opportunity to go and cut fresh herbs or go and cut flowers and, we can sustain it and have a lot of people, wouldn't it be great to have a butterfly garden and be able to sit and go read a book? So there's a lot of things, and to have say. This is an opportunity for us to put something together. So if you are interested, get a hold of Jack, get a hold of me, whatever, join the group and start getting all that stuff out there. So thank you for that.
Yeah, it will be. It'll be really cool. And just think beyond. You may see some pictures of 100 raised beds on a plot. It's going to be much more than that. So just think beyond. Think beyond what the placeholder is right now. It's as much as we can dream to build into it, I think.
Absolutely. Anybody else have anything else that they'd like to share? Any more updates?
It's snowing.
No.
Yeah, we got snow.
What? Oh my God.
Yeah, snow.
Oh. Oh my
Aye,
God.
aye, aye.
How much?
I don't know. It's just said it just started. It's going to snow for the next hour, I guess.
Oh, it's time for you to move. Again, maybe we need to. Yeah, you definitely need to move. Come on, guys. Ugh. Oh my God.
I don't even have my snow blower out yet.
I think we just had our sprinklers blown out the other day. It's been pretty real. My lawn looks beautiful. It's been really warm here. And we have frost warnings. So
no, I did my sprinkler lines about a month ago because I had to teach my daughter how to do it.
Ah, okay. It's all good. It's all good. But I thank you guys for coming. Hopefully you really enjoyed our speaker for this evening. I've been hearing, has anybody here gone to see Julia? I know that the Jennings have been to see Julia. Mary, did you finally go see her?
You're muted.
She's coming to the house Wednesday.
Oh, awesome. Terrific.
She was coming today, but she had to go out of town, so she's coming Wednesday.
Okay, terrific. And I know John and Una have had her come over. You want to share that?
Muted.
Yeah, I was waiting for John to take care of that part. Julia's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And personally, it was nice to have someone listen to me, because building this house and talking about designing it and that inside, a lot of family members had a lot to tell me. So it was very nice to speak to Julia for, I want to say it was like 2 hours she was with us.
Like 3 hours.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to working with her. I felt, like I said, listened to. She took a lot of notes. So we're at the very beginning. We're like the step before you, Mary. So I'm looking forward to going to her store. Is it, Robin? She has a place. Yeah. And I think she, besides just listening and taking notes, I think she really heard what I'm looking for. And I have a confidence now that the interior is going to become a home for us.
Hey, Robin, for on Julia, guys, you need to go to the meeting too, because she's very good about talking to the guys too, and not making you feel like a weirdo. It was really kind of informative, because she does woodwork and she paints. Okay. But then she has design, and then she solicited my opinion on things like, and whatnot. And so it was actually very nice to be with my wife and Juliet, just talking to both of us, not just my wife.
She's also a marriage counselor.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. And plus I don't.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
And in my case, it's going to be an investment banker as well. So I'm sure that by the time that goes, but also, you know what, Una, you want to share? You have a really great find, and we'll end with this one, about the framer, the person that you found that might be a big help for everybody.
Yeah. So, typically it's called a man cave, but we have a New York Yankee, we call it the Yankee room. We're big Yankee fans. I'm sorry for the Dodger fan.
At least we won more than the Yankees did, though.
Oh, that's only this year. Don't worry about it.
Same as last year.
I'll just say a number, 27.
Oh, okay.
For those that don't know, the Yankees won 27 World Series. But anyway, back to what Robin wants me to talk about. So we had a lot of memorabilia that we had bought in the 30 years we're married. And oh boy, see, I'm starting to lose power. I'm going to have to get a plug. John's running to get it. Anyway, so we bought them over the course of time and the different matting and so forth. So I forgot actually how we found this young lady. I just Googled her by chance, and it's called Katie's Art and Framing. I have to tell you that she's absolutely amazing person and a terrific framer, and she's an artist. So it's not like you go to Michael's craft store and they throw something in a frame for you and charge you $300, $400, $500 and tell you, well, it's 70% off, and you wind up paying $200. It's done with a lot of care and thought. And I had a painting of my mother who's passed away, and there was some damage to it because it had been in our attic. Not only did she pick out a beautiful frame for it, she actually touched up the painting. So she kind of rejuvenated it. So I have nothing but good things to say about her. She's I'm looking to plug this in before we die here. There we go. Right, John? I mean, and talking about including, the guy in the conversation as well, right? Like she's just terrific.
I think she framed about, I don't know, 20 items.
A lot of stuff. We had
So-
a lot of things pending that we were waiting till we were starting to move down here. We're actually transitioning between New York and here. So now we have a Yankee room down here. It's also John's office, and we could turn it into a bedroom if we had to. The other thing that she brings is a very good associate of hers. His name is Harley. And he came into our home, and what he does is he works for Haygood Homes
Hey
as
guys,
well
we gotta go.
Okay, have a good night.
as a staging person. Like he helps stage homes. He's multi-talented. He also is a musician in a wedding band and so forth. Any case, he came in the house and we had all these different pieces. He helped us to figure out how to put things on the wall, like arrangement. And then he physically hung them up on the 10-foot ceilings, 10-foot walls, So just another good person. So I think the combination of Katie with this Harley, if you have anything that you need to frame or to, bring back to life again, she's just terrific.
No,
And-
I thought it was, and I saw some of the pictures, and I think it was great because I know I'm looking at a lot of things in my house that need that. Do I really want to take them? But now I saw what she was able to do changes the whole look of everything. So if you share that, that address with me, I'll put it in the, I'll put it into the news, the email when I send everything out again.
Okay, sure.
And Karen, to answer your question, the progressive dinner is going to be starting at 5 o'clock. It's always 5 o'clock somewhere. So we're going to be starting at 5 o'clock, and that's and all of this information will go out in an invitation. So you're going to get the addresses, you'll get the time. So we're starting at Sandy and Brian's, and we're ending at Mary and John's.
Okay.
Okay.
And the POA, how long does that normally last? Is that
An hour and a half.
Okay.
It's
Nice.
usually a pretty hard stop because they kick us out of the ballroom.
Okay.
Doug is already, Doug is already out of there, and we're all standing around, and we usually end up, closing the joint. But yeah, so the breakfast starts earlier than the meeting. So they put out like fruit and coffee and some Danish.
It says 10 o'clock, Rob. The notice said 10 o'clock, but I don't think the meeting really starts till 11. I think they want everybody to get there. I'm not sure when it really starts, but in terms of the presentation portion. But I guess you get there at 10, you'd be good.
Yep. And I think there'll be a lot of people there, but I'll get the definitive answer on that. I know that usually I go at 10, and then everybody's kind of sitting down and finding a seat, and it's usually about an hour from start to finish for that. And And then we have to be out of there by noon. But it's free parking in Wilmington. Leave yourself some time to park if you're not staying at the Ballast, just because it's Sunday in Wilmington. And Mary and John, this is your first year that you're not living down there, that you can just kind of walk over.
I know, I miss having to, I hate having to worry about parking.
And we'll do the best. So I thank you guys all for coming. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will get this recording out to you as soon as let me just end the recording.